Okay, I'm going to show you how to multiply fractions and then convert to a mixed number and reduce to lowest terms if need be. Whenever I need to multiply by fractions, you're basically just going to multiply straight across the numerators and then straight across the denominators. If I have a whole number like 8, okay, I have to put that as a fraction. So 8 as a fraction is 8 over 1. Any whole number as a fraction is itself over 1. Okay? And when we convert to a mixed number, you'll see why. Okay? So if I'm multiplying 8 over 1 times 2/5, okay, I'll go 8 times 2, which is 16, and 1 times 5, which is 5. Okay, so that's my answer. Now, if I don't have to reduce to lowest terms and I don't have to convert to a mixed number, I can leave it just as it is. But usually you'll need to convert it to a mixed number because you have an improper fraction whenever you have a numerator that is larger than the denominator. So the way to convert it to a mixed number, and let me put that over here, mixed number, is you start with the denominator and see how many times the denominator will divide into the numerator. In this case, it'll be 5 into 16. That will be 3 times. Okay? 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to take the numerator, and subtract it by the denominator. I'm going to take the multiplication of the denominator and the whole number, which is 15, and then you subtract it from the numerator. So it'll be 16 minus 15, which gives me 1. And you keep the denominator the same. You don't change it. Okay? To make sure I did it correctly and to convert it back to an improper fraction to make sure, I go 5 times 3, which is 15, plus 1, which is 16, and you keep the denominator the same as well. So that would be 16 over 5. So I know I did it correctly. Now, if I have the fraction 2 over 12, and I need to reduce it to lowest terms, I have to find a number, the same number, that goes into both 2 and 12 evenly. And so you usually want the biggest number. But if they're both even, you can use 2 and just keep going until you can't go any further. And you'll see what I mean when I do a bigger number. Okay. The 2 will go into 2 times. So that leaves me 1. I'm sorry. 2 will go into 2 one time. So I put my 1. And this is reducing to lowest terms. Okay, now the 2 will go into 12 6 times. And so to check that, I can go 6 times 2 to check is 12. Yes. 1 times 2 to check is 2. So I know I did it correctly. These are also called equivalent fractions. But for now, we're just worrying about reducing to lowest terms. Okay? So if I had 12 over 36, okay, I could do 2 as well and just keep going until I get to the end. So 2 will go into 12 6 times, and 2 will go into 36 18 times. Now, they're both even, so I need to reduce them to lowest terms some more, to where they're both prime numbers, and they can't be, the same number can't be divided into both of them. So I take the 2 and divide it into 6. I get 3. I take the 2 and put it into 18, and I get 9. Now, 2 won't go into both of the 3 and the 9, but 3 will go into both the 3 and the 9. So I'll use the 3 now to keep, so that I go all the way down and I can't find a number that will divide evenly the same number into both the numerator and the denominator. So if I use 3, 3 goes into 3 1 time, and 3 goes into the 9 3 times. Okay, and again, 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. So now this is finally reduced to lowest terms, because I'm down to the 1, and they're both prime numbers, and the same number cannot go into both the 1 and the 3 evenly. So the 1/3 is reduced to lowest terms. So that's how you find the mixed number, and that's how you reduce to lowest terms. So I'm going to do one more mixed number, okay? If I had 2, no, let me erase that. It's not erasing very well. There we go. I'm going to put it back on the pencil. So if I had 11 over 4, and I want to make that a mixed number, okay? I go, how many times will 4 go into 11, the denominator into the numerator? And that would be 2 times, okay? That's going to be my whole number, because it goes in 2 whole times. So 4 times 2, I'm going to be multiplying, is 8. Okay, so now I take 11 minus the 8, and that's going to give me 3, and I keep the denominator the same. So to check it, I go 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 3, that gives me 11. So 11 over 4 is the same number in a mixed number with a whole number and a fraction as 2 3/4. So if I had 11/4 of something, and I had 2 whole cups and 3/4 of a cup of something, I would have the same amount if there was like a jug of water. Both jugs, the 2 different jugs, would have the same amount of water of 11/4 and 2 3/4. So you're taking the fraction, making it a mixed number, but you're not changing the value or the amount. You're just putting it in a different format. Since it's in 3/4, I know that there is not a number other than 1 that will go into both 3 and 4 evenly, so I know that it's already in lowest terms. So I don't need to reduce it to lowest terms. So this is something that just takes practice, but it's something that you get the hang of. And once you get the hang of it, you'll be excellent and you won't forget it. You'll be able to do it. So it's pretty simple. When you're working with the improper fraction with the larger numerator, again, you divide the denominator into the numerator. 5 into 16, we said was 3 times. Okay? And then we go 3 times 5 is 15. And then you subtract that 15 from the numerator. And that gives you this numerator for the mixed number. And this is your mixed number. Okay? And we keep the denominator the same. It doesn't change whenever you're reducing it to lowest terms or reducing it to a mixed number. And when we say mixed number, we mean a whole number and a fraction. That's why we call it a mixed number, because it's two things mixed together. So I hope that helps explain it a little more clearly.